Well, after putting out one of my most recent videos about the fact that Roadkill is now officially over, and Motortrend production seems to be generally falling apart, Hot Rod Garage and all of those other places, Roadworthy Rescues is falling apart, all of it seems to be canceled. You also have Top Gear, you also have Grand Tour that have all come to a close over the last couple of months. It's a very, very interesting time in the world of automotive entertainment. And I would say that YouTube is going to be the place that you're going to see most of this stuff coming. But there's definitely going to be some challenges, and I want to talk about those in just a minute. One of the things that I think we can all understand and all can kind of agree with is that legacy media, especially in the automotive entertainment space, is probably dead. It's not going to come back. We're put kind of in a post Gas Monkey Garage, post Street Outlaws kind of time. The whole super hyped up, major production value type stuff on major network TV is probably over and done with. And I'm okay with that. I think the thing that YouTube provides us is, especially as a content creator, is it provides a much more legitimate, honest, very interesting and enjoyable connection between the content creator and the fans and the people who watch the content. So as a content creator, I would like to say thank you very much, first of all. But one of the major things that I want to talk about as to why I can see a major problem with any kind of like high-level production stuff coming to YouTube, and that's been a major conversation over the last couple of weeks, is there going to be anybody that steps up? Even I brought this up in my most recent video about that. There is a major, major challenge about that content type coming over to YouTube. And to paraphrase a great American hero, Buford T. Justice, it's nothing but good old-fashioned American capitalism. See, if you don't know this, YouTube basically pays for itself and pays us based on ads. So whenever you watch a video, you click on a video, it runs pre-roll ads. Those are the ones that run before you watch the video. Then there's usually an ad break somewhere in the middle, maybe a couple, depending on how long the video is, and then there's one at the end. And that's how YouTube essentially pays the bills, and it's how YouTube pays us. They get their chunk, we get our chunk. Our chunk is smaller than their chunk, but that's okay. But that's how they pay the bills here. In the world of legacy media, it was a totally different situation. If you were, for instance, running a magazine, like say Hot Rod Magazine, you sold ad space in that magazine, and that magazine was going to go to absolutely everybody who bought that magazine, right? You didn't usually, as far as I'm concerned, ever really change the ads that are in the magazine based on who the viewership is and where they are. YouTube can change that. That's completely different. You can have completely different ad runs on the same video for different audiences. And that's a really interesting way to tackle things, but it makes it very, very complicated. So for instance, back to the Hot Rod Magazine thing, you would go to your people that wanted to run your ad, say Ford or whomever, and you wanted to sell them ad space. They would buy a chunk of ad space, they would buy a half-page ad or a full-page ad or whatever they bought, and they would pay a certain amount of money for that. That was guaranteed money that you saw as Hot Rod Magazine, that you could then use to be able to pay for production, you could pay for bills, you could pay for overhead, you could pay for buying things, you could pay for whatever you wanted to, but you had that guaranteed income. Well, that's not the way that works here on YouTube. It's much, much different. You're not sure how much money you're going to make when your video goes up, and you're not sure who that revenue is going to come from. Now, the exception to that is if you're doing a paid advertisement for somebody. So, like for instance, if you've been paying attention to anything automotive recently, you've probably seen an advertisement from Junkyard Diggs about Raycon earbuds. He's been all over my feed, and that's possibly because I do stuff with Junkyard Diggs, and I've known Kevin for a while now. But he's been all over the place. His ad for Raycon has been phenomenal. It's everywhere. And he got paid a good chunk of money to be able to make that advertisement. So that has helped to fund his channel and the project, whatever that is around, that he was making that ad during. And that is something that some of the larger channels can certainly rely on. If you happen to do in-video ads, it makes sense. But for the rest of us that don't do that kind of thing or haven't had that opportunity, it's not a part of the normal YouTube creation experience, and you really have no idea how much money you're going to make off of that video. So you've got to really look at it as a content creator. If I were to do something like a grand tour type special, I'm going to have to invest my money in buying vehicles, fixing whatever needs to be fixed, the cast, the crew, cameras, all the production stuff, hotels, food, fuel, everything. With the understanding that I may or may not recoup those costs. And that is a very, 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 very scary thing to do. As somebody who has owned small businesses, who has been in this content creation game for a long time, it's really scary coming out of pocket for thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars for something with no guaranteed return on your investment. If it doesn't get viewed, and if it doesn't get viewed well, you've lost everything. And this gets even more complicated when you get into the conversation about combining personalities and content creators. I brought this up in a previous video as I was talking about the death of Roadkill, is I would love to see content creators coming together to be able to make certain things happen. Or maybe we can see something where you see a new generation of American Top Gear, or whatever the case may be. But the big challenge with that is going to be the fact that whoever puts out the content, whoever puts out that video, is going to be the sole earner of that revenue. That money is going to go just to whatever that channel is. So, for instance, if for a very specific instance, 2500 road trip, it is my own personal version of a cheap car Top Gear challenge. We all go out and we buy $2,500 cars and we drive them for 2,500 miles. We're allowed to have $2,500 total in the car between buying the car and fixing whatever needs to be fixed. So there's $2,500 on my side of things. That's fixed cost in there. Then you've got hotels and gas and food and everything else that's involved in it. Now, obviously, we don't have film, but all of the other costs that are involved in the production of that video, I am covering those costs, and then I'm also going to recoup that money based on the video that I made. When you combine different people, so say like when Derek Bieri of Vice Grip Garage does something, he's probably going to get a guaranteed revenue on his involvement in whatever the thing is. I don't know. Maybe he gets some sort of a profit sharing out of the video. I doubt that. It's probably just a one-off, here's your chunk for showing up and doing your video. And that's probably the only way to do that. The problem is, as a content creator, it's really scary to come out of pocket to pay somebody to do that with no understanding that I may or may not ever recoup that money. I don't know. I don't know whether I'm going to get that money back or not. For instance, like with my recent purchase with the Pinto, I flew out to Iowa to buy that from Kevin of Junkyard Digs. I spent a good chunk of money on the car. I spent a lot of money getting it back to Ohio, and then I had to turn around and drive back and then fly back to Iowa. So I incurred a massive amount of costs involved in that process with no guarantee that I'm going to ever recoup much of any of it. I've made, I don't know, $150, something like that, off of all of that. Maybe not even that much. And I've spent vastly more money on that. So that's going to be the biggest challenge that you're going to see with YouTube becoming the place for the team-ups. You know, superheroes have taught us that it's always great to see team-ups. And it is always great to see team-ups. I love seeing channels cross-promote and collaborate to be able to make stuff together. The tricky part is the financial side of that is very, very difficult to see. It would be very difficult to imagine fronting thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to be able to make a video with fellow content creators without a guaranteed income source. Now, that can be different. Like I said, if you have somebody that's willing to come on. So like, for instance, Donut Media recently is just wrapping up their high-low series where they're building 5-liter Mustangs. And that was paid for by Allstate. They fronted the bill for that. I don't know what that cost Allstate to be able to have that ingrained advertisement in those videos, but that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take to be able to make something like that. So it's going to require a channel that has some serious chutzpah and some major pull to grab an advertiser that's willing to come on board to pay for a video series like that, or a one-off road trip type thing where it's sponsored by a major advertiser that's willing to sink the money into it and is willing to fund those episodes. I think it's possible. I think it's definitely going to be an interesting transitional time for YouTube and for automotive content creators in general, myself included. It's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. I can't imagine doing it any other way, but if you could think of another way to make it work, make sense, let me know. Obviously, you can do some of it off of merch sales as well. The problem with I have, at least personally on the merch sales side of things, is now I'm leaning on my viewership to pay my bills to create the content. And that I've never really been super comfortable with. I don't mind selling shirts and hoodies and beanies and keychains and bumper stickers and whatever. But I don't really feel great about asking you, the viewer, to spend $30, $40, $50, $60, $80, $100 on some product to be able to fund me, be able to make my entertainment content for you to watch it. When there's other options that are out there, there's other channels that are out there, there's other ways that you can get your entertainment for free here on YouTube and just rely on the normal standard YouTube process to pay those bills for those creators. So I don't know, not really a video that makes a lot of sense on this channel, but I wanted to kind of talk about it because it's a major topic that's up in the air right now. I think this is an incredible golden time right now for YouTube content creators to really shine and to grow and to usher ourselves into a new generation or a new time. I think it's a fantastic time period, but it's going to be really challenging to see if anybody could figure out a way to make that make sense. Because I love that stuff where you have the buddy stuff where you go out and you have 2 or 3 or 4 different content creators and they make videos and they go on adventures together or they do whatever it is they do together. I think it's fantastic and I love that sense of camaraderie. But short of everybody doing their own video of the thing, like for instance, Freiberger just put out his video from Duct Tape Drags. And I know a number of different content creators that went to Duct Tape Drags, and they all made their own videos about their experience going to or being at Duct Tape Drags. So they've all made their own individual incomes, but they're one-off episodes. They're only, you got to go to this guy's channel or that guy's channel or that guy's channel or that guy's channel. You have all these guys that are getting their own individual piece of the pie versus having all of it centered on one video. Where everybody's together and everybody's kind of doing their thing. It's everybody kind of splitting off and doing their own thing so that they also make revenue. Which again, I have no problem with. It's just one of the challenges of YouTube. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe this doesn't make sense to even post this here, but I wanted to open the conversation. I wanted to put it out there. Maybe as a bit of an educational piece for people that don't understand how maybe the background of some of this stuff works. Let me know what you think. I'm curious. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I'm about ready to head to dinner with Katrina. We're going to one of my favorite places to eat, Rodizio Grill. Hey, Rodizio Grill, if you'd like to become a sponsor of my channel, that would be awesome. Brazilian barbecue, tons of great food, lots of meats, my kind of thing. Also, just real quick before I let you go, the trip to North Carolina obviously hasn't happened yet because I'm going to film that. We generated like $1,300 that I'm going to be able to donate to the people of North Carolina that were impacted by the hurricane. However, I have not been able to get there because of my life situations and work situations and all the stuff that's going on in my life. But I think I have a good plan, and I want to talk to you about it. I want to make it in another video, so it's going to be coming on, I believe, on Monday, about combining me being Santa Claus and my trip to North Carolina and when I think I can make this work, and I want your feedback on it. So if you're interested in that, please do pay attention to the channel. I love you guys all so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting me so far. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing if it wasn't for you guys, so thank you guys all so much. Stay tuned for that. It'll be coming out on Monday. I need to film that, and I'll get that out on Monday evening for you guys. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I love you. Go Buckeyes. Looks like a great day of college football if you're a college football fan. Anyway, I love you. Take care. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye. See ya. Whatever. Bye.